All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lory. Today we'll be drawing a wolf in Procreate, and I promise this time my Apple Pencil is charged, and hopefully we won't have any technical issues. My bird was being quiet because I was quiet for a few minutes, so he's probably... I thought he was going to take a nap, but he's probably going to start talking, so midway through the stream I might have to get up and grab him, but with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and get started. As you see here, I have Procreate open. Procreate is awesome if you have an iPad and an Apple Pencil. Procreate is just $10 on the App Store, and it's amazing. A lot of artists love it. A lot of designers use it for professional work. It's like Photoshop. It's a little bit more simplified. Less on like photo editing, more on illustrating and using brushes. Excuse me. So as you can see here, these are some of the artwork, some of the works of art that I've created over the past few streams, and just some personal things as well. So we're going to click here on this plus sign on the top right, and we're going to hit the square button. I just personally like the square. You could do screen size, you could do a custom size. Sometimes if I am doing something for a video, like a little animated effect, I'll make it 1920 by 1080, so you can do any sort of size. So one thing I will say with Procreate, I know that if you have like a really large size, you know, like, I don't know, maybe like 5,000 by 5,000 pixels or something, I'm pretty sure that the amount of layers you can have is less. So just keep that in mind for more complicated works of art. You'll probably have to merge your layers and stuff like that. That's something I haven't mentioned before, so I just thought I might bring it up. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I don't want to work on a white background. I kind of want to make it gray. So I'm going to go here to a background color, make it gray. It's more like a, I don't even know what you would call that. It's like gray with like a green tint. So I have my wolf here, and I'm going to start with a sketch, like I always do. I have a bunch of color palettes here, but I'm just going to go to my disc, grab a black, maybe I could do black and then make the layer less opaque, or I could just go for a gray. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to go to sketching. I tend to do things like different every single time. That's just kind of how I roll, I guess. Alright, so we're going to look at our reference image here, and I love drawing wolves. Sometimes I'll draw wolves from memory, because I've been drawing them since I was very young. Balto was my jam. It was my favorite movie ever, and that is when my love for drawing and also love for drawing wolves, I think, really came into my life. So shout out to Balto. It is the best movie in the world. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Alright, so sometimes, you know, usually I used to draw wolves with like a really thin neck, but they have a lot of fur, so we kind of want to make him kind of scruffy, you know, and he's got like a really broad shoulders up here. And we're going to make this a little bit smaller because I'm drawing him a bit too big. Zoom in a bit. And we can go ahead and just zoom in on our reference image too. Just like that. Okay, I'm just looking at my sketch. Just kind of following the lines for right now. This is like where his eye will be. This is like the outline of his ears, right? And my idea for this drawing is I want to make him really, I almost want to mimic the effect of like drawing with pen. So I'm not going to really go for a flat design for this. A little bit. I don't know how to explain it. I guess I'll just explain it as I go along. It's not very often that I draw and talk at the same time, so forgive me if my words kind of all over the place, because I'm trying to focus on the lines and stuff. Okay, here I gotta zoom out a little bit because we got most of the head down. Alright, so Right, there's his body, and then his back leg is like kind of over here like that, and his tail's gonna come out like this. Okay. This leg is right here, and then this one is coming out like this. I'll take my eraser and just erase some of these lines because I messed up a little bit. Good morning, Rob. How are you doing today? Is that leg too long? I think it is. Just shrink a little bit. Okay. Yep. All right, so his leg in the back is kind of extending out like this. Thank you. I'm glad you like it so far. One thing that I learned, I can't remember what it was from. I think it was from Spirit. There was a movie by DreamWorks called Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, and James Baxter, that was the animator. He had this in one of the extras on the DVD. I know, DVD players, right? So it was like this was for a horse, so obviously it's a little bit different, but I tend to do this trick a lot. So I kind of like do a circle up there, and then I just make these like lines and circles for like the joints, and it kind of helps me plan out where that leg is gonna lay. And obviously it was different with a horse, like they would have like a hoof, you know, a hoof. So it's kind of the same in a way, but he goes into depth really on like the joints and stuff of a horse. So you might be able to find that on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll see if I can link it in the description. But that drawing class was like a game changer for me, and I loved it so much. I don't use it all the time, but it does help for like these legs, and kind of figuring out where the joints are and where they're gonna bend. All right, something like that. So I love how that leg looks so far. Okay. And then, so maybe, you know, the other leg is behind, you know, so we're going to do another joint there, and we're going to kind of bring this down here because I know it says Getty Images right over my leg. So something like this, and then the leg comes out like that, and then the paw is right out there. And as you can see, the back legs that I've drawn are a lot more defined than my front legs. So maybe I want to come back here and, you know, this is like the shoulder. This is another trick from that illustrating video. What am I saying? I need coffee. I didn't have coffee yet. So here is like the elbow, I guess, in a way. And you just kind of want to do that and just define exactly where the leg is. This one is kind of a little difficult, this one right here. I don't really like how that's coming out, so sometimes I will like erase that and just do the leg like behind here because I feel like that sometimes looks better when I draw this pose. Okay, so the tail is very basic. It's a fluffy tail. And now I can't tell if the head is too small. I think it might be fine, actually. Right, and there's a kind of our line there for the ground. I'm just going to go back and fix up this part. All right, cool. So I'm going to use a different technique. I want to make him white and maybe like a little bit like of an off-white color. I think something like this might be nice. And what I'm gonna do is bring my sketch layer up and set it to, press this little N. N just means normal. And here you have all these different settings. So I'm gonna set it to multiply. So that's gonna be, it's layer 1, it's our sketch, and it's gonna be on top of this new layer that we created. We're gonna go back to layer 2. You see layer 2 is normal and layer 1 is multiply. So multiply will give us this effect where, I'm gonna change my brush, where what you're drawing underneath, you can still see the sketch. What do I want to use? What did I use last time? That was a really cool brush. Oh no, what was it? It had a weird name. Oh, this one. Freycinet. I don't know. Someone knows, let me know. I'm also gonna just lower this a little bit. And now I'm going to, oh no! It's too big. I'm going to, is this the brush? I guess it was. Oh, because my opacity is low. All right, there we go. I'm just going to fill in the wolf how I want. I'm just kind of go over like the sketch. And it's okay if it's not quite in the line. In fact, I kind of want it to be like that, because we're going to go over with a darker brush and draw the fur, and it's going to look a little bit more messy. It's not going to be as clean. And I think that'll work really well for the wolf and kind of its wild nature. I love wolves. Okay. Just kind of do something like that. And then if you just want to see like what I'm coming out with, just turn that off and on. Kind of want to come back here a little bit. I really liked how I made this back leg. So I just want to come back and define that a little bit more. And I remember I used this brush in my cat video. So what I said there was, this brush has a really cool texture and I quite like it. So you get that texture by coloring like this. If you make a circle and then fill it in, you don't have that texture anymore. So that is why I am taking the time to color in the whole wolf, or whatever it is that you're drawing, with this specific brush. So not all brushes have this texture, obviously, but this one does, and I like it. So I'm going to try to keep its unique texture. All right, I'm just gonna color it in. The brush a little bit smaller. Okay, forgot one ear. This technique is going to be really fun. I don't like how I drew that paw. Paws have always been really hard for me in the past. It's because you kind of see like the other toe kind of sticking out, so I think that is more what it should look like. When I was a kid, oh my gosh, I drew paws like this. That's how I drew paws. And then I was like, I need to stop that. Because, you know, it's more cartoony, and how I used to draw was cartoony, and then when I was like, you know, I kind of want to draw them a little bit more realistic, started doing like pet portraits and stuff, you know, that wouldn't fly, so. All right, you know what? Let's just breeze through this. I don't know if I like this paw coming out here. It's kind of like, you know what? It's fine. We'll just roll with it. Kind of like that. Yeah, I guess that looks like the photo. I realized I did not finish my sentence. Kind of like that. Right? I don't know. Sure. Sometimes you just have to be like, yeah, that's good. I'm just looking. I can see that this has to match up a little bit more. And can come here a little bit. Like that. And what else? We want to draw a little bit of fur belly. Okay, and then we want to draw this leg. I like how all right, there we go. I'm just looking at the leg. I didn't do a really good job sketching this one, so a little off here. For some reason, these, like, this part of the leg are like my favorite to draw. I don't know why, even though like I was struggling a little bit just now, I just love like this, I don't know, I just love how it looks, especially this leg. All right, so the step is done. We have a cool filled in silhouette of a wolf. Oops. So now I'm gonna draw his fur, and I'm gonna do it in a way so like I'm drawing all the pieces of fur and it'll be a little bit annoying, but for me it's therapeutic. So I want it to be like a gray. Well, let's see if that color kind of, ooh, that's gonna be cool. All right, so we want to do a new layer. And hold on one second. Yeah, okay. So the way that we're gonna be drawing this is I'm not really gonna go with like the colors of this wolf because I just kind of want to make this my own. So I'm just gonna start to like, you know, I'm gonna go with the way that the fur is laying. Like I said, it's hard for me to talk and draw at the same time. My bird is saying, come here, come here. Come here. He just picks things up. Like, I don't even really have to teach him anything. Like, I used to just say, Maple, come here. Now he's saying, come here. Come here. I don't know if you can hear it. It's funny. All right. And so with this, you know, I kind of want to draw like heavier parts and heavier lines and lighter lines to kind of show like the muscle and stuff. I'm not really doing that. Okay, so right here I want like it to be darker. And then for the tail, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we want the top part to be a little bit darker because his tail at the bottom underneath, it's like definitely a lot lighter. So I'm gonna increase my brush just a tad. I think this brush is really sensitive because if I increase the brush size just a little bit, it like really increases it. So I feel like it's kind of sensitive, but it's okay. Okay, something like that so far. Something like that. Let's go back to the leg. And I want to, define this pause here. So I drew kind of that like line, and then I did like the little, what do you call it? The nails. It took me way too long. Like what are those things called again? Oh yeah, nails. Oh, why didn't I not have coffee yet? So here, because there's less fur, I'm not gonna go too crazy with coloring it in. And if I want to turn off my sketch, ooh, yeah, that looks good. All right, give me 1 second because I'm just gonna grab my bird out of his cage. Let me just turn this. I will be right back. All right, we're back. Now he's just gonna fly around. I didn't turn off my sound, so you probably heard him flying. Okay, so here, I want to like define a little bit more. Okay, and that looks pretty cool. So this part, I'm gonna make it darker. I know I said he's gonna be a white wolf, but he's gonna look more like a gray wolf because of this fur. So forget that I said that. I just totally like realized what I said. Okay. Whoops. Why does that look so weird? Okay. Now his belly is definitely a lot lighter, so one thing that I learned over the years is I never like color the wolf with lines like that or like this, because if you look on like a dog or something like that on the back, like let's say you're looking straight down, it kind of comes out like this, right? Like a tree. So if you want to imagine that line here, we're kind of drawing down from it in an angle, and then the fur kind of gathers here, and then it will like come down because it's going to hang from the belly, kind of comes around like this. So that's how I draw the fur on this section. Okay. if I like this color that I chose. I think it's probably fine for now. Wow, your hand hurts. Yeah, so really the rest of this video is going to be me drawing line by line, like so. I hope I gave some useful tips. I kind of want to make these a little bit darker here. Yep, something like that. You know, it's like you're shading, but with lines. Here it's like a muscle, so I kind of want to just darken that a little bit. And then here. And then if you wanted to, like if you wanted to make this wolf like dark gray on the top and then like brown, because he's kind of like, his color's changing down here, you can totally do that. You can totally change your brush to that color and make it kind of like a gradient effect. That would probably be really cool. So here he has like this line that's kind of, it's not a line, but like this section that's a little bit lighter. So I'm just gonna leave that a little bit more white. And now, so now we're gonna get to like the tricky part with his face. So I'm just gonna finish his legs right before we get to that. Something like that. Okay, so this paw, you can kind of see the underside, but honestly, I don't feel like drawing that. I'm just gonna kind of go like that. Okay. And then now, all right, let's just look at let's take our sketch off and see what we're working with. Cool. All right. Probably trying to sketch off soon. Okay. So I'm gonna go back up here and we're gonna work on the neck. And I drew my wolf with a mouth closed, so that's just how I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna draw these ears, so he has this like darker part, and then this kind of like outline. I'm gonna make sure we draw that, and then draw the little fur pieces around it, like so. Give it a little bit of texture. I feel like I'm shaking my table around. Like that. That looks pretty good. Do the same thing over here. Kind of draw that outer lip part, and then you can't really see it, but I'm gonna go ahead and draw like this part here. I can't really see it in the image. And then just go lightly with the brush. All right, so for the head, typically like wolves or like, I don't know, some dogs will have like a darker line right in the middle. So that is a good moment to define because it really defines the face. I don't know what I was going with that. And then for the face and like the eye, there's gonna be the eye, and then you want the fur to kind of come around like that. And you know, and then we can always erase some of these if we're like, oh, I drew too dark there. So let's just go ahead and draw his eye. Oop, no! Do I click on it? Sorry about that. I totally messed up. Okay. I thought I could zoom in more, but it didn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna color in this whole part first. So kind of round like that, comes to a point, and it also ends in a point like that. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my eraser and I'm going to erase part of it, and then I'm going to come back and draw this part. Maybe I want there to be like a little shine, just like that. And that is how I would draw the eye for this drawing. Okay. Alright, now I'm just going to kind of go with longer strokes because the hair is getting longer. Come around here, and we want to start defining this neck here. Make a brush a little bit bigger. For this, I'm just kind of going with the direction that the fur is. I'm not really worried about like the dark and the light. I'm just gonna kind of worry about making sure it flows correctly. Like that. And then remember, this is the shoulder part, so we still want it to kind of come together, but because the fur is going in different directions, it kind of helps us because it kind of shows like that's a different part of the body. But maybe we want to come back and darken this up. Alright, now I think we can probably take off our sketch layer after I draw the nose. Something like that. We want to give him a little shine. I think it's a little bit too big. That, and maybe we want to draw like a little mouth or something like that. That's kind of cool. So it's still a little bit too big. You could also, you know, draw like the little nostril, you know, with like some negative space. You know, it would be like that, and then like that. But I'm just gonna leave it. All right, so now we can turn off our sketch because we don't need them. We don't need that sketch. And now we can go in and be like, oh, okay, well, here it needs to be a little bit darker. And on the eye. I'm like, oh, okay, well, there needs to be more definition here. Here's the ear, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, it needs to be popping out a little bit more. All right, I'm just looking at him. I'm like, okay, so this part needs to be darker. And I'm like, okay, maybe, well, maybe, well, what I'm saying. I need to come back here and use my eraser and get rid of some of these. I'm like, oh my god, I made it too dark. It's too much. Just erase some of that. Just like so. Like, okay, here, actually, that's like his bottom, which connects to this. Right? I'm just looking. I'm just trying to like define some of these parts here because I just feel like some of it are getting a little lost. So I just kind of want to define some of the outlines, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? Okay. So I'd say he's pretty much almost done. I just want to change like the background color because I just feel like it's a little weird. Definitely the silhouette and the shape I made the wolf is not perfect to the reference image, but that's okay. I'm thinking maybe something like black would be cool. No. These are just colors that I have in my library. I'm kind of thinking, okay, bear with me. I kind of want to, let me see. Let's just make it normal. I kind of want to change the color of this, so I'll show you how to do that. Because I think I made it too light, so we're gonna go here to recolor, and I'm gonna click on, hold on, I'm gonna tap where that color is, so it's right there, and I'm gonna make it black and then flood. All right, it kind of worked. The other thing I could do, whoops, yeah, it worked, is I can swipe to the right, and so I can only color on this part. Yeah, it worked. Yeah. Just erase some parts of the paw. And I kind of like that. This like dark blue. I don't know what you call it. Teal green. Ooh, that looks cool too. What about if I make it white? Ooh. Because I made him that off-white, he kind of sticks out. I kind of like that. You can do any color you want. Ooh, that one's cool too. I think I'll leave it at this like navy blue. So I'm just gonna select these and I'm just gonna make them a little bit smaller and put them right in the middle. And there we go. That's our wolf. All you gotta do is sign it somewhere. Right? Come on. Oh, that's why. New layer. Oh, that's a bad signature. All right. And there we go. There's our wolf. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was a lot of fun for me to do. Really simple techniques, but you know, you can get a really cool image out of it. I just want to say it's National Teacher Appreciation Week, and I want to thank all of our teachers, instructors at the DIE, and teachers all around the world. If you have a video that you want to submit, all you have to do is just answer the question of how has a teacher inspired you or changed your life or what they taught you, something really quick, and then just email it to info@thedie.com. And be sure to check out thedie.com for all the upcoming classes that we have coming out this week, as well as next week. We have Minecraft Hangouts, Roblox game Hangouts for kids, I think Tinkercad, 3D modeling, coding, tons of awesome stuff. So be sure to check that out at thedie.com. Thanks so much and have a great day.